Travis Wayne Goodsell, still suffering the effects of the dust bunny attack yesterday. They all day. Oh. But yeah, I'm glad I remembered Bananarama. I heard a rumor because I found that they had a song called Running with the Night. That is awesome. Well done, Bananarama. So it was from their Masquerade album. But there's another song title with that. We were running with the night. Lionel Richie. So, the Church of Jesus Christos had a front page of their website, Talk of the Week, Book of Mormon Unites Us. And it's Razband's talk as I checked on it this day. And I don't think I did a response video for him specifically. But maybe he got put in as a thumbnail. Bednar, Cook, Irene, Nelson, Christofferson, Renland. Yeah. So I think he got replaced. Just like the Mormon Jews, he got replaced. The Mormon Jewish Christ got replaced. Yep. And so Yep. And so Razband didn't really know what he was talking about, as again, he's being an anti-Semite, because the Book of Mormon says it's the learning of the Jews. And so anything that says that it's not, and replaces it with something else, is anti-Semitic. And yet he incorrectly quotes from the introduction, was Wilford Woodruff's journal, from which the introduction came from. Joseph Smith called the Book of Mormon the most correct of any book on earth. That was Wilford Woodruff's journal. And they put it in there in the 1981 edition, and they forgot to properly reference it. And as a result, Bednar went on to plagiarize his talk in conference, because they just don't want to do anything right. So, let's see. I worn his copy, blah, 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 old photos. All of mine are destroyed by my dad. He has his scriptures marked. That's interesting. Let's see if I have my photo of my scripture annotation. Hold on a minute while we do a check. So, that file, and that file, and my. Let's see if that's going to bring it up. My LDS piggy bank. It could have been moved over to the other file, because that's not in here. So, could be under a different name too. Let's try the different name first. Scriptures. And I'm speaking kind of loudly just in case certain background noise decides to let slip some words. But I found it. There it is, my mission scriptures. Why wasn't it under my? Yeah, there's a big difference between the two of us. So, let's do a comparison. Razband versus me.
Keith, Leo to the front desk. You have a phone call. Keith, Leo to the front
Razban's Scriptures, and that's probably his best page. Versus my scriptures. Like I tell you guys, you have to study. You can't just coast through life thinking you know everything about Mormonism, because you don't. As you're hearing so much new stuff from me, you're like, this can't be true. There's just nothing that is the same as Joseph's church and this current church. It's like a completely different church. Yeah. Lehi means hill. Dear God, I was given so much misinformation back in the seminary and institute. Lehi means jawbone. But apparently Judges 15:17. Let's check it out and see what was going on there. So it wasn't from institute or seminary. It was as I was going through the Bible on my mission. Okay, Judges 15. Oh, Samson. Interesting. And yeah, it's jawbone. I didn't know Hebrew then. Ramoth Lehi. Yeah, what was that hill of... It came to pass that when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand. Lehi. Yeah, because I didn't know Hebrew back then. So, yeah, see? I have no problems admitting that I'm wrong. Nelson, how about you? Your turn. Razband? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? Bueller? Huh, that's pretty cool. Well, they're being held for ransom right now in the storage unit, because I'm not afraid to tell you what's happening to me in my life. As the video's being uploaded right now. Where is it at right now? It's got 8 more minutes of uploading. As long as the Mormon employee isn't working tonight. But the concept of uniting with the Book of Mormon only works because they're lying about the Book of Mormon to people. And so people believe that the Book of Mormon is therefore another testament of Jesus Christ, and that's anti-Semitic. Because you've read your Book of Mormon at least, right? You've read 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2, right? We hate you, Travis. You leave the church and you just can't leave us alone. Yea, I make a record in the language of my father, which consists of the learning of the Jews and the language of the Egyptians. Dear God, how can you miss this like I did? Yeah, the churches played us all for chumps. I am one of you. You think that I knew better all the time? Whatever. I was born into the indoctrination just like you were. I had to find out the truth just like you should. Just like I keep encouraging you to do. And so, Joseph Smith history, as they get the wrong name of the church. Joseph Smith papers, guys. Look at the Joseph Smith papers. And then 19, rather than scrolling down, I was answered that I must join none of them, for they were all wrong. And the personage who addressed me said all their creeds were an abomination. So what was the first creed? Now that you have Google search, you're studying your scriptures, you then went to Google search and studied what the first creed of Christianity is. First creed of Christianity. Ta-da! Jesus is Lord. That's the abomination. It's the abomination. And you missed it because you're not doing your research. 325 AD 325, and it's 325 CE technically. They need to get rid of AD and BC. They need to use the scientific terms. But the Council of Nicaea, that's what he's referring to. And why is it an abomination? I have to keep going over this with you, don't I? Because what do you think of the Jews during the time of Christ? Oh, well, they murdered Jesus, and they deserve to be cast around Europe for 1,500 years in the Holocaust. Uh-oh. See where you went with that? Yeah. Oops. You're anti-Semitic. Constantine was anti-Semitic. He couldn't kill off the Jews. So what he did was he gathered all of the bishops from all of the different congregations and said, let's figure this out and become one. Unite under the Book of Mormon. I mean the Bible. And Jesus is Lord. The great and abominable Christ of the great and abominable church. But it fell. So what about the latter days prophecy? What great and abominable church is going to fall then? If the Constantine church has already fallen along with his Christ. Yeah. Well, it's the same name. The Church of Jesus Christ, obviously, is what we're looking for. And the Book of Mormon tells us this. And you miss it because you've been indoctrinated to interpret the Book of Mormon otherwise. And so you've redefined words, you misinterpret because the church has taught you to do so. And so you have no clue then, and when we get to verse 8, where he's Lehi, Jawbone, carried away in a vision, and he saw the heavens open. You have no clue that you now need to pull out your Urim and Thummim. Your Urim and Thummim is essential for you in learning the Book of Mormon. And why? Oh no. What do you mean we have to do more than just read, ponder, and pray, and be given all the answers with minimal effort? It's because there's this guy they talk about, or Nephi talks about later on, when he's having his tree of life vision, dream. He learns about an apostle of the Lamb named John, who would write about the latter days, just as Nephi is writing about the latter days. So this can be found in John's Revelation, then, can't it? Yes, it can. I'm just following the example of Jesus, who condescended. That's in Nephi's vision. Do you know of the condescension of Jesus? And then he doesn't answer. I know that he da. Just say no. Just say no. And so and so where is this sign in the heavens, of which you need to now pull out your stellarium, Urim and Thummim? Revelation chapter 12. That's what I've been going over with you. And so what's the date? 23rd September 2017. And so you see what a big difference in interpretation there is between what the church is presenting to the world and to you, and what is real and straight from the Book of Mormon. There's a big difference, because this is talking about the latter days. And you're going, well, I don't understand. It's literal history. I can't comprehend. 2 Nephi chapter 25, verse 1. He's writing in the manner of prophesying among the Jews. Ta-da! This is not literal history. The Book of Mormon says it's not literal history. It is prophesying. And so the Book of Mormon, instead of uniting us, is actually dividing us. because you guys have become anti-Semitic with the Book of Mormon. You've become racist with the Book of Mormon. And if you don't understand, refer to any of the critics who have done videos. They'll inform you about how the Book of Mormon, as they believe, they don't believe that it's literal history, but they believe that Joseph Smith made it appear to be literal history. And so they believe Joseph Smith manufactured it and thus is exposing his racist tendencies. And so, wrong. But they won't listen to me either because they think they know better than me. Because somebody else said a rumor. And so there's a big difference. But now, having talked to you about the learning of the Jews and the manner of prophesying among the Jews, and remember when I emphasized tree of life? Yeah. Are you supposed to go to the Orient to see if there's any tree of lives out there? Maybe South America and their tree of life. Maybe somewhere else in the world for their tree of life. Somewhere else in different time frames for their trees of life, like Mormon apologists do. No, you stick with the Jews. The Jews have a tree of life. It's the Jewish mystics, the Kabbalah. And that's what you're supposed to be studying, because this book tells you to do so. The learning of the Jews, language of the Egyptians. So when Isaiah talks about Emmanuel, he's talking about the Egyptian sun god. That's his name, interpreted into English or translated into English. It is not God with us, it is sun god. There's a big difference, and the other video is done, so I'm going to end this one. But, I mean, dear God, guys, I mean, seriously, nobody wants to watch the latest videos. Everybody's focusing on a run on LDS Church President Nelson Doctrine, Jesus' higher celestial law of sex trafficking. That's okay. If you at least get to one of those videos, great. But there's a warning in the not wanting to be like Warren Jeffs and Brian David Mitchell. But if you're not going to listen, you're going to be held responsible when they come for you. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? I need to watch that trilogy again. So, yeah, that's what it does. It divides us by turning us into anti-Semites, racists, bigots even, because of the passage for Abinadi, the manner in which he is burned to death. And there's only one place in all of Scriptures. So Mosiah chapter 17, verse 10. And it came to pass that they took him and bound him and scourged his skin with faggots, yea, even unto death. And that turns Mormons into bigots, because I had my peers laughing and giggling, showing me this passage. And so, even on my mission, we had an investigator who was gay, but they put on the investigator record, flaming. And my companion, Mark Augustine, I have no problem sharing with you his name to shame him, because he then put gay next to it, just in case people were confused as to what flaming meant. And so I was the only one who went to dinner and had the cabbage, stuffed cabbage for dinner. They cooked us dinner, and it had to be my district leader, Stephen Ames. I remembered his first name. Anyway, but you might know them. They're from Utah. And Mark Augustine, full disclosure, helped to send me down the river for 6 years of my life, which is why I have no problem saying his name. And he hates it when I do this. He doesn't like it when you use hand gestures. So yeah, I purposely did it to him as he was sending me down the river while I was locked up in chains. So, and Book of Mormon divides because you are the condemnation for not studying the Book of Mormon that Benson renewed. Yeah, let's find that one. Condemnation. Whoop. Condemned. Condemnation. 157? Book. Section 84? Yeah. Let's see. And your minds in times past, verse 54, have been darkened because of unbelief, and because you have treated lightly the things you have received, which vanity and unbelief have brought the whole church under condemnation. And this condemnation resteth upon the children of Zion, even all, and they shall remain under this condemnation until they repent and remember the new covenant, even the Book of Mormon. And the former commandments. It was the Book of Commandments. Let's see when 84 was, which I have given them, not only to say, but to do, according to that which I have written. 84 is 1832, yeah. And so it was actually prior to the Book of Commandments, which was 1833. And so he had some other stuff that he had published under a different title as well. So, yeah, you're under condemnation, Mormons. Benson, and the living prophet who's now dead, and who said that you have to ignore him now that he's dead. The 17 fundamentals of a living prophet. He wasn't even authorized to give that, as he was just an apostle then. Nonetheless, every Mormon believes that they can justify ignoring what they want to ignore and be under condemnation. So, well, all right, I'm done.